Morning everybody, Linda here. I'm just going to start going through some basics of how to do diamond painting for people who have never done them before. So I'm going to go through things like how you get your parcels, what they look like when you get them, what sort of materials you think you might need to get started. I'm going to look at light pads, easels, that type of thing. So I may actually do some videos in stages. I do have some on my YouTube channel that I will refer to, and I can put the links up if anybody wants them. So we'll get started and we'll see how you go. And if you've got any questions, you can just put them in the comments. So what I've got here, now I'm working on a bigger project at the moment, so I've just grabbed one out of my little stash that I have. So this one here is just a little partial 30 by 40 special shaped diamonds. What that means is they're crystal sort of colors. I quite like them. So quite often when you get them, they'll come in like a an outer bag with your name and address on, obviously, but this is usually how they'll come. So it's just like a little cellophane bag. Now, it will be rolled up. This one's just two little giraffes, which is pretty cute. So when you get your parcel, it will come with your painting like that. Now, it is a little bit creased up. What I used to do when I was getting mine, I would roll them onto a pool noodle. I do have a small one here. So and I do have that on my YouTube channel as well. So I would get the painting and roll it quite tightly onto a pool noodle. I used to cut them to size. Then I would put some reusable Velcro around it, or you can use rubber bands. I just don't like using rubber bands because the stupid things break and they hurt when they break. So if you just leave that for a while like that, some people put them under books, under heavy objects. I've never bothered doing that. I have found that doing this tends to work. And then once you've had it, if you've had that rolled on there, say for a couple of days, then I would just get it, roll it the other way. It'll end up going flat, because you will see that it has got some creases in it. A lot of the time the creases too will come out on the actual painting when you put your beads on there. It's just that they won't come out of that. Some people iron the back of them. I've never done that. It's something I'm not really that keen on doing. But if you do decide to do that, a very, very cool iron to just get the creases out of the back. But yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend that to start with. I'd just try the pool noodle trick and go from there. So I might just actually leave that rolled up on there for a few seconds. I'll just put it under something to hold it. What you'll also get is a little package that has your beads in it. These are referred to as drills, just in case you ever hear anybody talking about that. I've just got to find how to open it. I think they're idiot proof. Yep, definitely idiot proof. Let's get a pair of scissors. So quite often they will come like this. There are so many different ways they get packaged. It just depends on the seller. Sometimes they come in little Ziploc bags with the number, the DMC number. So just in case you don't know, the colours of the drills, except in these special coloured ones, relate to DMC colours in embroidery cross stitch. Okay, so these quite often will come with just a number 1, which is just the package. It'll then have the DMC number, and on some of the Ziploc bags it will actually tell you how many they've put in there. So if it tells you need 500 on the canvas, they might give you 550, so they'll normally give you extra. This one only has 4 colours because it's only a tiny one. I've done them up to 60 colours. So it'll all depend on your picture. I would probably recommend, if you're going to start with a partial. or nothing bigger than a 30 by 40 in a full, but maybe start with a partial one to start with, just so that you don't get overwhelmed with it. I think you'll find as soon as you start doing it, you will really enjoy it. I've not met many people that have said that they don't get addicted to doing it because they just love doing it. So the next step, another thing you will receive is a little bag that will have your tools in it. Now these also vary, so sometimes you will just get the little tray. Sometimes it's white. Sometimes it's blue. You get a little piece of what they call wax or glue. Now that does have a protective covering on both sides. So I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But don't take that plastic covering off because otherwise it will dry out. I'd probably recommend putting it into just a tiny container. Your pen. Now, sometimes these vary as well. Sometimes you'll get a clear one. Sometimes they've got little grips on them. Sometimes they've got another little end on them that you can do multiple placement of drills. Really depends on the seller. These have got a pair of black plastic tweezers, which, to be honest, are really useless. You're better off with a better quality pair. Sometimes you get a really good pair in some of the sellers. So it'll just depend on who you buy from. Normally, I find you won't get the better quality until you start buying the bigger sizes. So anywhere from 40 by 50 onwards. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just get rid of this rubbish. Just hang on 2 seconds. I'm just going to get some containers. I want to set. There was another little packet of beads too. Just these are the special shaped ones. I'm just going to put them into these containers for now. I do have another video up on the page for a Xyron sticker maker. These are the containers I use. Now these aren't a cheap option, but when you're doing bigger projects, I would highly recommend these. I love using them. They've got different sizes. You can get anything from a tiny up until a large. I'll just see. That's a tiny container. It holds about 1,000 beads. Then you've got your smalls, which would hold just over 2,000, maybe 2.5. Might be even a little bit more. Then you have got your medium size, which holds 3,500. Quite a lot. And then you've got your large containers, which I think I had one the other day that I fit nearly 7,000 beads in it. So as you can see, that one's got quite a few in it, and I have used quite a few of those ones. What I do is when I get my painting, because I'm doing bigger sizes, now this is the current one I'm working on that a lot of people might have seen. I actually photocopy that legend on the side of the canvas. Now, you will always get the legend on the side of the canvas. In the bigger sizes, you will get sometimes a sheet like this, which will actually, if you have a look there, it shows you, it's just got a number, legend 1 to whatever, how many colours. You've got your symbol that you use on your canvas and your legend. That is your DMC number, and that is the amount of beads that they're saying you've got. That does not come with all paintings, but what I do is what I've done here. I photocopy it, and then I cut it out, and then I run it through my sticker maker, and that's what I've got stuck on there. A lot of people use just a normal sticker maker. Some people just use labels, write the number on, draw the symbol on. I'm not very artistic, so I choose not to draw them on. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So what I'm going to do is most of these are bigger size containers, so so just to put your ones in, you would stick your label wherever you want it on it. I haven't done the labels up yet, but that's okay. What I could do if I wanted to, because I haven't done them up yet, is I will just cut that out and stick it inside. So as you can see, this is off one of the ones I said is a special one. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's just a nice bigger bead, and I love these special diamond ones. I've done a few. I've got I'll show you after. I've got a peacock up there that I've done. I like them. It's something different, and they're nice and sparkly, and yeah, so I like using those. So I'll just, because we've only got 4 colours, so just try not to mix them up. And what you can do too is, if you're having trouble getting them into your containers, you can buy little cheap plastic funnels from your cheap shops. Now, these beads are very, very tiny. I mean, very, very tiny. I think there's something like 2.5 or 2.8 millimeters. So when you first get them, you're going to go, oh my God, I can't do that. My 85-year-old mother does these diamond paintings. So if she can do them, anybody can do them. Again, I'll just put the number in the container so I don't get confused. The preparation, getting them ready, sometimes is a little bit overwhelming for some people, but it really doesn't take long. Some people actually quite enjoy the organisation of getting them ready. So put that one in there. So I've only got 2 more colours. Like I said, sometimes you can get 20 or 30 colours. Sometimes you can get 40 or 50. Sometimes you can get 10. Really depends on the picture. Oops, just spilled them. Don't be too concerned if you do lose a few beads on your travels, because 90% of the time you will always have more than enough. What I'd also recommend is, when you've finished a project, keep your leftover beads that you might have, because if you are doing another project, you can be short sometimes, and if you're short, then at least you know that you have got enough in your leftover stash of beads that you can take some from. And I've had to do that a couple of times. There are places that you can order spare beads from, so it's not really that big a deal. I've got another video up on my YouTube channel about how to do inventory. Now, you're probably not going to do inventory on one like this, because it doesn't tell you how many beads you're supposed to have. But like I said, on this one, it tells you here that you've got 273 for that colour, and you should have 2 packets. There's around 200 in each packet. So what they've done is they've basically given me 400 beads, which gives me nearly 130 extra. Okay, so if you do your inventory and you only receive 1 bag, now on this one I did actually get shorted 4 bags, but I had spares, so I didn't panic. That was number 3865. It told me I should have had 8 packets, and I only had 4. Look, I don't stress over it too much. These people that are packing these are human. They're going to make mistakes. it's easy to pick up the wrong amount when you're looking at so many of these, and they sell so many that it would be so easy. So don't panic if you are short, but do your inventory first before you undo anything. Just count them off, and if you're short, maybe start on another project, contact your seller, just explain that you're short in the beads. I would then probably just buy them, because a lot of the places in Australia you can get them within a week. And then, you know, get them to send them out, and then you'll have spares for your next project. So like I said, I don't really stress over it too much. Okay. So that's all of those packaged up. So what I'll do now is I'll finish this video, and then I'll come back and I'll show you a couple of other things before we get started on the painting.